a very good evening, everyone. My name is Raghav Singh on behalf of the Mentorship Project. We are delighted to have you on board for this wonderful session on HPCL, that is Guide to Excel, the Law Officer exam by Shivesh Tripathi and Aayush Arora, who are Law Officers in HPCL. तो जैसे कि मैंने पहले बताया और जहां पे भी आप लोगों को लिंक मिला है रजिस्ट्रेशन का, वी मेड इट वेरी क्लियर that this is free of cost session. We are a pro bono project and this is going to be absolutely useful for those people who are going to appear for the HPCL exam, and even those people who are law student or lawyers, or and those people who intend to give this exam in future. So again, welcome on behalf of the Mentorship Project जितने भी लोग हैं इस सेशन में. और before we can proceed with the session, we want to give an introduction about our mentorship project. So we are the Mentorship Project. It is an initiative, it is a pro bono initiative to provide access to quality mentorship to those who lack that access. जिन लोगों के पास privilege नहीं है, जिन लोगों के पास मीन्स नहीं है क्वालिटी मेंटरशिप का, गाइडेंस का. सो वी आर एन इनिशिएटिव हु प्रोवाइड विच प्रोवाइड्स दैट एक्सेस. हमने पहले भी बहुत सारे ऐसे इनिशिएटिव्स लिए हैं और ये हम कर पा रहे हैं. वी आर एबल टू डू दैट बिकॉज वी आर हैविंग अ वंडरफुल टीम ऑफ एक्सपर्ट मेंटर्स. As you can see on your screen, these are just few of our expert mentors who have joined this initiative. So is our aim, basically our aim is to create a pool and that pool can be used. उस pool का हम उपयोग कर सकें इसलिए कि वो एक just a student who does not have enough means for guidance, that pool can be used for such kind of a guidance. और हमने पिछले एक साल में we have got wonderful results. As you can see on your screen, Mr. Uma Mahesh Rathod, he is legal manager and in retail litigation in ICICI Bank. Mr. Aman Rai, very recently अभी यूपी जुडिशियल सर्विसेज का रिजल्ट आया, ही इज आवर मेंटी, ही हैज क्रैक्ड यूपी जुडिशियल सर्विसेज. मोहित अभी बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में लॉ ऑफिसर है. हितेश बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में लॉ ऑफिसर है. तन्मय बाथा में क्रैक्ड Delhi Judicial Services, and these are our five mentees. स्वाति चारू वीर, जिन्होंने अभी मध्य प्रदेश जुडिशियल सर्विसेज का एग्जाम क्रैक किया. और ये इसलिए हो पाया, why? Because we are having mentors who can guide you to excel in your goal. And right now this is what we are here for: Guide to Excelling the HPCL Law Officer examination. And we have got our wonderful mentors with us, Mr. Shivesh Tripathi, who is Assistant Manager HR Legal HPCL, and Mr. Aayush Arora. इससे बेहतर गाइडेंस HPCL Law Officer के लिए कहीं पे भी अवेलेबल नहीं है. Why? Because this is something which is coming directly from the horse's mouth. These people are working as law officers in HPCL, और ये ना कि एग्जाम को जानते हैं बट जहां पे काम कर रहे हैं उस सिस्टम को भी जानते हैं. सो दे नो द डिमांड ऑफ द सिस्टम. So Mr. Shivesh Tripathi, he's an alumni of NLIU और अभी ये assistant manager HR legal है. Mr. Aayush Arora, he's an alumni of UILS. He's working as a law officer HPCL in Mumbai. So with great delight, I welcome on board both Shivesh and Aayush. We are glad to have you, and first of all we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts कि आप लोग एक प्रो बोनो प्रोजेक्ट हम लोगों को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. और आप सबसे पहले तैयार हुए कि यस, यू वांट टू हेल्प दोज पीपल जिनको गाइडेंस ना ही लैक कर रहे हैं बट जिनके पास रिसोर्सेज भी नहीं है ऐसी गाइडेंस सीख करने के लिए. सो वेलकम आयुष एंड वेलकम शिवेश.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Raghav.
All right, great. So we'll kickstart with the session. So the very first, I think before we kickstart with the session, I just want Shivesh first to come on board and give a brief idea about his role, that is HR legal. Because first and the foremost thing that we want to clarify to all the aspirants कि जिनको लग रहा है कि ये HPCL लॉ ऑफिसर एग्जाम है, तो इसमें सबसे पहली चीज ये क्लियर करनी है कि HPCL लॉ ऑफिसर HR का अलग एग्जाम होता है और सिर्फ HPCL लॉ ऑफिसर का अलग एग्जाम होता है. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वांट टू वेलकम ऑन बोर्ड शिवेश, हु कुड टेल अस लिटिल बिट अबाउट हिज background, little bit about the role Okay, as what role is he performing, and what in what capacity is performing his role as a law officer HR in HPCL?
Thank you, Raghav. So, hi, this is Shivesh here. I joined corporation in 2018. So I think, uh, and I joined as a HR legal officer. So this post is basically related to labor law, and it is totally different from law officer post because there is no internal transfer that can happen at any point of time from HR legal post to law officer. Okay, so these two departments are totally different. Law officer comes under marketing department and HR legal comes under HR department. Okay. So HR legal officer, they essentially do two types of things. Apart from training and all other things, two essential jobs are there. First, handling disciplinary inquiry matters. Disciplinary inquiry, as you may all know, that relates to any misconduct conducted by either non-management employee or a management employee. Then there is a disciplinary action that is to be taken against them. And we are handling those kind of. Secondly, uh, if anything related to labor law, suppose a contract worker or even an employee of the corporation files a case against corporation before any court, even in Supreme Court, relating to labor laws, then we are there to handle those cases. So our role is very limited to labor law related matter inside the corporation. That's it. And apart from these things, we are also responsible for conducting audits that is we visits various locations around. We have more than 300 locations around all around India. So we visit those locations and conduct audits and provide the guidance to the location about various non-compliances that are happening relating to labor law. Secondly, we also train these officers relating to labor law compliances. Okay. And lastly, yeah, we train these employees. That's it. So four major works we are doing, and most important works are handling disciplinary inquiry matters or handling court cases. Thank you so much.
Right. Raghav,
Yes,
should I
yes.
start?
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivesh. Yes, Ayush, if you can just brief about your role.
Yeah. Am I visible and am I audible? Please confirm it to me.
Yes, very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Yes. Good evening, all of you. My name is Aayush Arora. I am working as a law officer at Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. Currently, I am posted at Hindustan Bhavan, which is the marketing headquarters of HPCL. So I would just give you a brief. Why am I saying marketing headquarters? HPCL has two headquarters. One is the corporate registered office, which is called Petroleum House, which if you get selected for the interview round, you will be going to Petroleum House to give your interview, which is a beautiful office. My office is also a beautiful office, but my office is marketing headquarters. Marketing means anything beyond once the product is out from refinery till the time it is sold to the customer. The entire process is called marketing. So I will give you a brief. For example, Shivesh sir beautifully described his role, that his job is limited to what happens within the corporation. He is the lawyer dealing with matters that are arising majorly out of the corporation itself, right? Whereas we are the infantry that deals with litigation and disputes that arises beyond the corporation. I'll give a very simple example. You see all the petrol pumps, all the LPG distributors, they are called the dealers, right? They're called dealers. They have dealership agreements signed with the company. So some dispute arises, some or the other dispute arises out of this dealership agreement. So we have to contest a litigation or perhaps send them a show cause notice that they have committed some violation of the dealership agreement. So we deal with them. Then also we ourselves, we do not construct or build projects such as some refinery, or let us take for example some kind of an LPG plant. We don't build ourselves. We float a tender, we invite bids, and then we ask contractors and vendors to build refineries or to build LPG plants or bottling plants. So these tenders have also a lot of litigation involved. Sometimes there is a writ filed by by other bidders who feel that the tendering process was not fair enough. Sometimes during the project is being executed, tender is being terminated because he was not doing his job right, then he would sue us, right? Either that would be an arbitration or it would be a writ petition. So our job is to deal with the outside world. Last but not the least, my job is an exception because I do not sit at the zonal office who handles majority of the litigation. I am sitting in the headquarters, which means that where I am sitting, we have the aviation department sitting, we have the LPG department sitting, we have the pipeline department sitting. They enter into a lot of contracts. They enter, for example, recently, I cannot disclose anything, but there are a lot of contracts they enter into. So they would come to us, they would seek advisory. They would say, this is the contract that has been sent by this party, and they want to enter into a contract with us. Please tell us if this contract has anything that is prejudicial to our interest or we should be wary of. So non-disclosure agreements, we sometimes draft them, we sometimes also vet them. One example I would give that is not covered under confidentiality. Recently, HPCL entered into a deal with Honda, right? So that was done by me and my boss. We both sat together. We both finalized the documents. So there are very high stake agreements that are involved. Another example I would like to give you to justify to explain what I usually do. The Prince of Saudi Arabia signed 3 memorandum of understandings with our Minister for Petroleum and Natural Gas, Mr. Deep Singh Puri. That we worked on a lot of MOUs that were being signed by HPCL. 3 of the MOUs were being signed by HPCL, and those were the contracts, those were the MOUs that were vetted by me and my boss. So that is some high stake work that we do in headquarters. Litigation is handled by, so that is the job of a law officer. That is advisory, vetting, and litigation. That is the job of a law officer.
All right, wonderfully explained both आयुष एंड शिवेश. तो वो सारे लोग जिनको ये डाउट था कि लॉ ऑफिसर जनरली जो पोस्ट निकलती हैं वो निकलती हैं लॉ ऑफिसर के लिए, बट एचपीसीएल ने लॉ ऑफिसर एचआर और लॉ ऑफिसर के लिए अलग अलग पोजीशंस निकाली हैं. तो जितने लोगों ने भी सुना आयुष को और शिवेश को, दे वुड हैव गॉट एन आइडिया कि दोनों में डिफरेंस क्या होता है, कि एचआर का क्या रोल होता है और लॉ ऑफिसर का क्या रोल होता है. तो मोस्टली आई बिलीव कि जितने भी लोग यहाँ पे हैं उन लोगों ने जो एग्जाम है जो अपीयर करने वाले हैं ऑलरेडी फॉर्म फिलअप कर लिया होगा. अगर नहीं किया है तो ये जो पर्सपेक्टिव आपको मिला है ये बिल्कुल ध्यान में रखिएगा जब आप अभी फॉर्म फिलअप कर रहे हैं, बिकॉज लास्ट डेट इसकी 18th है, कि आप अपने को किस रोल में बेटर देखते हैं, लॉ ऑफिसर एचआर के रोल में बेटर देखते हैं, लॉ ऑफिसर के रोल में बेटर देखते हैं. तो वील क्विकली प्रोसीड फॉरवर्ड with a very important part, which is the pattern of the exam. So I would invite again Ayush to explain the pattern of the exam कि और ये सबसे जरूरी चीज है कि क्या पैटर्न है इस एग्जाम का. तो आयुष, if you could just take it from here.
Right, Raghav. So this examination is a 120 marks exam, right? So for once you can see, you can forget what's there on the screen because I don't think so that will be there. Raghav, can you take there on the structure of examination? Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Right. So basically this examination is a 120 marks examination. Raghav, you can remove the screen because that would confuse, I guess, a lot of candidates. So I can just explain it without the screen. Okay, so this is a 120 marks examination. It will be going on for 3 hours, right? So you can note it down, 120 marks and for 3 hours. This exam is divided into 3 components of 40 marks, 40, 40 and 40, right? That is 120 marks. Your first 40 marks are dedicated to your law MCQs. Shivesh will be sharing the PDF that comprises of the syllabus that was there for the previous exam, that is 2022-23. The new syllabus, I guess it will be updated. I do not know if it will be updated or not. Please keep a check on your emails that you are getting or the HPCL website. So one is that 40 marks will be for legal MCQs. We will come on to that. We will define as to what MCQs were asked. Then 40 marks will be dedicated to your logical reasoning, mathematics, and your English, right? 40 MCQs for your logical reasoning, mathematics, and your English. 40 marks for your legal MCQs, right? So if that's 40 and 40, that's 80. Now let's come on to the next 40 part segment, which you are seeing on your screen. You have 40 marks, right? 10 marks questions, you will have two 10-mark questions, and you will have one 20-marker question. The two 10-marker questions will have open-ended questions, right? I'll give you my example. From us, we were asked, the first question that we were asked was that how would you define independence of judiciary? There was a statement given, independence of judiciary in light of recent Supreme Court judgments, right? So that was an open-ended question. If you were through with live law, if you're through with bar and bench, you would get to know, what we are talking about. So independence of judiciary, that was first question. Second question was a technical question. The second question was, what are the properties that are exempt of attachment at the time of execution under the Code of Civil Procedure? So this was a technical question. This was section 60 of CPC, right? There's a list of a lot of properties that you cannot attach during the time of execution, right? So this was a technical question. This question required some bare reading of the law. And 20-marker question, we were given a very small proposition, and we were asked to draft a written statement on a particular proposition. The proposition was that A lent B 5 lakh rupees, some more facts were given, and A has filed a plaint to recover that 5 lakh rupees. File a written statement, draft a written statement in light of the plaint. So we had to imagine a plaint, right? And then we drafted a written statement. So you would have to type in the paper. So 80 marks, you will have to, their MCQs, and 40 marker, you will have to type it in the paper. Raghav?
Yes, Ayush, you are audible.
Yeah,
Yes.
I have concluded for the pattern.
All right. So, we can proceed with the pattern now.
Yeah, was I audible? I explained the pattern.
Completely audible.
I explained the pattern, the 40,
Yeah,
40
pattern
and
as
40.
in we can proceed with the, if they are able to qualify this, then what they can expect next.
Okay.
The group task and yes.
Got it. So once you qualify this test, so you will be called into ratio of 7. So they have given a multiplier. For example, if there are 5 posts for law officer, 35 candidates will be called for the next round. I'll explain what the next round is. For law officer HR, there are 2 posts. Into 7 would be 14. So 35 candidates, top candidates from law officer post will be called, and 14 candidates for law officer HR will be called. Now this is the one of the most interesting and unique aspect of HPCL law officer examination. I'll explain you how. In law officer examination, there would be 3 rounds if you qualify your test, right? There would be 3 rounds in the same day, and I thought it would be very exhausting, but trust me, it is going to be fun. We will explain you later on as to what the details of these rounds, but I'll give you a gist. There would be the first round would be a group task round. Group task round means that you will be made to sit, 6 people would be made to sit. You would be given some facts, some problem, right? Let's take, for example, you are a business, right? And this is the problem before you, that let's say some other competitor has come. How would you refine your business? What would you do better? What would you make things efficient? So this has nothing to do with law. This has more to do with your logical reasoning. You are made to sit in a group of 6. You are given a proposition. You are given 15 minutes to think, to make notes of it. And then after that, the floor is open. You can discuss as to what is your suggestion. How would you want to make this business better? How would you like to solve the problem? Right? So first is the group task. If you qualify, if this is an elimination round, if you are out, you are out. If you qualify the group task round, then you have to take 2 more rounds. The first round is the moot court round. There's a moot court competition that happens. The moot court you have done in college, this is much more easier. You are given a proposition, you are given 15 minutes to think over it, and then some other candidate is given the opposite side of the same proposition. So some lawyer was called to judge this round. This round is not judged by the officers of HPCL. some law firm partner was called to judge us. It was a beautiful proposition, very simple proposition, but still they were checking the basics of your law. So nothing difficult. Don't trust me. This is not that 12-page, moot court proposition that you see in your national moot court competitions. Nothing like that. So we, after our group task round, we had a moot court competition, very fun moot court competition. They would make you very comfortable. They won't grill you with questions. They would ask you some very basic questions to know your basic understanding of the law. And last but not the least would be your interview, where the executive director, the general manager, the deputy general manager, all the leaders, the leading bosses, who are my bosses at this point of time, would be sitting in the interview panel. And interview panel also goes on very smoothly. They won't come to pressurize you. They won't grill you. It's a very comfortable round. They would just ask you some basics of the law. So concluding, the first round would be a group task round. They would give you a problem. You would have to discuss the solution. This is an elimination round. If you qualify this round, you would have a moot court and an interview. Your calculation of the total marks would be like this. 85% of your marks would be from the paper and 15% marks would be moot and interview, right? I would conclude 85% marks of your performance from the paper and 15% would be your moot and interview. That's all, Raghav.
All right, thank you so much, Ayush. That was very beautifully explained. जितने lucid तरीके से बताया पूरा हर एक step के बारे में. I think most of the aspirants who are having the doubt about particularly moot court, क्योंकि जब से HPCL vacancies निकाल रहा है, ये moot court वाला एस्पेक्ट काफी डिस्कस्ड एस्पेक्ट है और बहुत सारे लोगों को इस पे मतलब दे आर नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड कि बेसिकली मूड कोर्ट कैसे कराएंगे, क्योंकि सबको जिन लोगों ने एक्चुअली में मूड कोर्ट में पार्टिसिपेट किया है दे वुड अंडरस्टैंड के हमेशा 12-15 पेजेस की प्रॉब्लम होती है और उसके बाद करना होता है. तो आई थिंक ऑल द एस्पेक्ट्स इंक्लूडिंग द मूड कोर्ट एस्पेक्ट दैट यू हैव टोल्ड, जितने भी लोग हैं उनको समझ में आ गया होगा अच्छे से. इन एनी केस अगर नहीं भी आया है, सो आई जस्ट वांट टू इन्फॉर्म बिफोर हैंड दैट अभी तो हम लोग आपको जनरल गाइडेंस दे रहे हैं इस एग्जामिनेशन के बारे में. और जब आपका ये पेपर हो जाएगा एंड दोज पीपल हु वुड क्वालिफाई फॉर दीज राउंड्स ग्रुप टास्क इंटरव्यू, तो एक अलग से हम सेशंस रखेंगे, मॉक इंटरव्यूज रखेंगे. तो उसमें हम फिर से ये सारी चीज़ों को हम लोग फिर से इसको टेकअप करेंगे और आप लोगों को गाइड करेंगे. बट अभी जो हमारा मेन फोकस है दैट इज टू क्लियर द रिटन एग्जामिनेशन दैट यू वुड पीपल वुड बी अपीयरिंग, अभी जो लोग अपीयर होंगे इसमें. ऑल राइट, सो अब हम आ जाते हैं सिलेबस के बारे में. तो जो सिलेबस है इसमें काफ़ी डिटेल्ड सिलेबस है और बहुत सारे लोगों को डाउट है सिलेबस के बारे में कि क्या सिलेबस, कौन से क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं, कहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आने वाले हैं. तो लेट अस डिस्कस द सिलेबस फर्स्ट, क्योंकि टाइम बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है सबके पास. कुछ लोग ऑलरेडी प्रैक्टिसिंग एडवोकेट्स हैं, कुछ लोग जॉब में हैं. तो जितना लिमिटेड टाइम है हमारे पास उसका बेस्ट यूज हमको करना है. तो लेट अस डिस्कस द सिलेबस. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट यहाँ पे शिवेश, इफ यू कैन जस्ट डिस्कस द सिलेबस फॉर HR लॉ ऑफिसर.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Raghav. So HR law officer, so since we are dealing with mostly labor laws, but that does not mean that we do not require basic understanding of other laws. Suppose Constitution of India, because we do file writ petitions and all. So हम लोगों को ना Constitution of India हो गया, CPC हो गया, CRPC हो गया, and Evidence Act. These are the laws that we require. Contract Act even. So these are the laws that we have to have at least basic understanding to perform in a way that the work that we are doing related to labor laws get performed. So basically the Constitution of India, if you are looking into Constitution of India for this HR law officer relating to HR, you have to understand the basics of Constitution. Writs, what are the different types of writs, okay, amendment procedure है ना, ठीक है, और courts कैसे function करती हैं, and if you can read about the recent law, recent judgment and vis-a-vis the Constitution of India, जैसे अभी जो judgments आ रही हैं, कुछ privacy पे आ रही हैं, कुछ right to life पे आ रही हैं, then we have to have that understanding कि Constitution of India पे वो provision कहाँ fall करते हैं. जैसे अभी Article 370 is being talked about. So we can understand कि उसका क्या provision है, कैसे constitution में वो सारी चीजें हैं, and the question from those areas can also come. Indian Contract Act में भी similar is एकदम basic. We are not going to understand. मतलब for HR law officer बहुत ज्यादा deep understanding नहीं होने वाली है हमारी यहाँ पे. हमें यहाँ पे basics पता होने चाहिए कि क्या क्या what is contract, what is agreement, what is voidable contract, what is void agreement, है ना. हमें ये सारी चीजें पता होनी चाहिए, ठीक है. और एकदम बहुत बेसिक्स में हमें ये सारी चीजें पता है, लेकिन बेसिक हमें ध्यान रखना है कि बेसिक हमें आना ही चाहिए इन सारे लॉस. बिकॉज और जैसे आप देखोगे ना 1 to 6 ओनली 50% क्वेश्चन यहाँ से कंप्राइज करेंगे, बाकी 50% का जो वेटेज होगा दैट विल बी रिलेटिंग टू लेबर लॉ. सो सिविल प्रोसीजर कोड्स बहुत बेसिक, ज्यादा क्रिमिनल प्रोसीजर कोड्स का तो बहुत कम, क्योंकि देर आर सर्टेन प्रोविजन इन फैक्ट्रीज एक्ट विच रिक्वायर like there are prosecution relating to prosecution of a occupier. These type of provisions are there in Factories Act. So that is why we need to understand the criminal procedure, because we go before a metropolitan magistrate to defend our head of the location. So that is why we have to have a basic understanding of criminal procedure codes as well as Indian evidence. But when it comes to labor laws, so the labor laws that are written here, Industrial Dispute Act, because majority of the court cases that we have right now relating to contract labor as well as non-management of employees, because there are two categories of employees. Non-management, they are worker class of category for the purpose of Industrial Dispute Act. Okay, when you read this law, you will have to understand who is a worker and who is not a worker. Because worker, if you read these labor laws, you will get to understand that the worker class is better protected under labor laws, and the non-worker class, that is a management, they are not that, they do not have that much right that a worker class has. Okay, so Industrial Dispute Act is very important. You can just go through with this standing order act, because this is relating to like why a standing order is there, how a standing order is formed. So standing order is basically codes and conducts of a non-management employee inside a corporation. Okay, Factories Act is very important, because most of our location, okay, a field location is covered under Factories Act. Even when you see the petrol pumps, no, that are owned by HPCL, okay, that is owned and operated by HPCL, in most of the location, even a petrol pump is a factory. You have to find out why it is factory. You have to read about it, why it is factory, why a petrol pump is called a factory. Okay, and when you go through a Factory Act, there are certain provisions that you need to keep in mind, that safety related provisions you have to go through, like you have to memorize what are the safety related provision under Factories Act. Okay, what are the working condition and working hours related provision under Factories Act, because these are the thing that will most of your work revolves around. Because when you go for a non-compliance related audit that I was talking about earlier, we see that a worker in a factory is not like he's not getting he's not being asked to work more than 8 hours, and suppose he is working for more than 8 hours, then he is getting overtime payment. Okay, you will get to know what is overtime and how it is calculated. So these things you should keep in mind. EPF Act is short for Employees Provident Fund Act. Okay, so there is basically, you must have heard what is a provident fund. Your father or your some relative must be contributing some sort of contribution. So why it is important? Recently, we had a Supreme Court judgment in November itself. So you should read that judgment relating to EPF Act. Similarly, ESIC Act is also important. It talks about contribution, and it is basically an insurance relating to our employee who is earning less than 21,000 rupees. So you have to have an understanding how and when ESIC Act becomes applicable. Workmen Compensation Act is something that becomes applicable where ESIC Act is not applicable. Okay, and it basically talks about in case of any employment related injury, and what are the different kind of compensation that becomes payable. Maternity Benefit Act, Payment of Gratuity Act, you have to just understand the basics of Maternity Benefit Act. Payment of Gratuity Act is a very short act, and you should read like what are the how and when gratuity becomes payable. Contract labor is one of the like another after Factories Act you should know about. You should read I at least once all the provisions of the Contract Labor Act, all the section, and but you should know under this what is the like abolition, under what condition abolition of a contract labor happens, and how a premise is registered under the Contract Labor Act, when a premise is to be registered, when a contractor has to obtain license. These are the provisions that you need to understand, and there are certain obligation under principal employer, and there are certain obligation on a contractor. So you have to have understanding of those as well. Okay, Child Labor Act and Trade Union Act, you can just have the basic understanding of these acts. Apart from these acts, there is one other law, that is Building and Other Construction Workers Act. So suppose just Ayush was talking about any like installment of any refinery, okay, or any LPG plant. So since it is not a factory, okay, so there are certain other acts to protect the interest of the worker working in a construction site. Okay, so for that purpose, building and other construction work comes. Okay, so you have to have understanding of that particular act, like when or there is a certain obligation on like HPCL or other PSU to have a contribution, to make a contribution for betterment of those workers. New labor codes, as you all aware that they are not notified yet, but what you have to do, you have to have understanding of the changes that has been brought up by the new labor codes. Okay, so you have to have the comparison between, suppose there is a Factory Act and there is Occupational Safety, Health and Working Conditions Code. Okay, so you have to understand what were the provision under Factory Act and what are the changes that have been made under the OSHW code. Okay, next, we have prevention of sexual harassment at a workplace. So, as you all know that it came after 2013 judgment of Vishakha judgment in of Supreme Court relating to Rajasthan, some worker of Rajasthan, state of Rajasthan. Okay, so this judgment made this act possible, and this is very much important act because any establishment cannot function without this act. Every person, every employee have to have understanding of what is Prevention of Sexual Harassment Act. Okay, and next thing is administrative law. Why administrative law? Like I was talking about earlier when I was explaining the functions of an HR law officer. So we had two functions. Like first function was understanding, conducting or contributing towards disciplinary actions when a disciplinary action has been initiated against an employee. So we have to, for conducting or for assisting an inquiry officer or even a disciplinary authority while conducting a disciplinary inquiry, we have to have understanding of principles of natural justice. Okay, because all the disciplinary actions are governed by principles of natural justice. There is because Civil Procedure Code or Indian Evidence Act is not applicable while conducting a disciplinary action. They are just governed by principles of natural justice. So we have to have understanding of that particular thing, and you have to like keep in mind that from serial number 7 to 10, 50% weightage are given to labor laws. Okay, so you have to have these understanding of labor laws, keen understanding of labor laws, especially Factories Act, Contract Labor Act, and EPF ESIC Act, and Workmen Compensation Act, BOCW Act. These you have to have better understanding, and rest you can just, for now, you can just go through with it and have like you have to have understanding of applicability. And if anything is like there is a numerical, like suppose under EPF Act 12% of basic plus DA is to be contributed towards monthly contribution. So you have to you have to know what is the contribution when this act becomes applicable. These kind of understanding you have to have. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Rahul.
थैंक यू सो मच शिवेश। इतने इतना ज़्यादा इंसाइटफुल तरीके से हर एक एस्पेक्ट को एक्सप्लेन किया है। नॉट ओनली कि कौन सा एक्ट आ रहा है, बट उस एक्ट में इंपॉर्टेंट प्रोविजंस कौन से हैं जिसके ऊपर ध्यान देना है। जब शिवेश ने बोलना शुरू किया था उसके पहले ही मैंने ये वाली चीज बोली थी कि कुछ लोग मे भी जॉब कर रहे होंगे, कुछ लोग प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, तो हमारे पास इतना टाइम नहीं होता है कि इतनी सारी चीजें जो सामने स्क्रीन पे दिख रही हैं वो हम पढ़ पाए। तो ये जरूरी हो जाता है कि जब आप एक एक्ट उठा रहे हैं तो उसमें से कौन से प्रोविजंस पढ़ें। तो दैट वाज वेरी वेरी इंसाइटफुल। थैंक यू सो मच शिवेश for explaining it so beautifully to our aspirants. Now, I would like to invite Ayush, if he can take over from here to explain the syllabus for law officer exam.
Right. Thank you so much, Raghav. Thank you so much, Shivesh sir. Okay, so before I start talking, I want to ask you all a question. There is an option of raising hand, right? If you click on more and reactions. So I have a question, and if you raise hand, all of you, how many of you are preparing for judicial service examination? Be very honest. You can raise your hand. I want to see how many of you are preparing for judicial service examination. You can do like this. You can raise your hand like this. We can't see you can't raise hand manually, but okay, all right. We got two names. We'll give you 1 minute more. I'll tell you it's dependent on this. How many of you? My answer is going to be dependent on this survey, this little survey that I want to take. There are 5 to 6 candidates who have raised their hands. 7, 8 candidates now. 10 seconds more and then I'll proceed. How many of you, be very honest, you can raise your hands? Okay. Right, got it. All right. Thank you very much. You can put your hands down by clicking lower hand, right? Like this. Okay. So the reason I asked you this question is that there is a 40 marker, segment of your legal MCQs. The entire syllabus, Raghav, you can scroll this screen down. For example, you can see the Indian Contract Act. And if you scroll it down, you will see the Partnership Act, Arbitration Conciliation, Constitution, TPA, Indian easements. Indian easements you won't have in any of the judiciary. Sales of Goods Act you would have in judiciary syllabus. Penal Code definitely, CRPC, CPC definitely, evidence definitely. You would have it in any IPC. I don't know. I have heard it in Bihar Judicial Service you won't have. Consumer Protection Act. So these are some laws that you have to cover. So okay, thank you very much. So I'll tell you how did I prepare, and this was a hit for me, right? This was a 100% hit for me. I got the highest marks in law. There is a book, right? There's a book. I won't like promote any single book, but there's a book, right, for preliminary examination, which has a lot of MCQs, right? I won't take any specific name, but you would know the generic names. You would have Universal. Then there is a book by Pariksha Manthan, right? Pariksha Manthan is a good book. So they are books that are there for preliminary examination of judiciary. The same pattern. They would have a lot of MCQs. Pariksha Manthan specifically, why? Because they would divide their chapters. For example, in CRPC, there are a lot of chapters. For example, they would divide their MCQs chapter wise. Contracts may they would divide their chapter wise, right? So that would help you. Now they have given a lot of sections here. That Indian Contract Act will ask you section 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, right? So this is very deceiving. You might say, oh, bas itne sections hai, main inko padh leta hu. But if you would see at the end, there is a rider given. Anirudh, can you take it towards the end, the last line? Right? So there are all sections given. You would say, अच्छा मैं तो सिर्फ इतने sections पढ़ लेता हूँ और पेपर की तैयारी हो जाएगी मेरी 2 दिन में. So see this red line. The syllabus/topics mentioned are indicative in nature. Candidates are expected to possess significant knowledge, not even basic knowledge, significant knowledge/proficiency pertaining to the relevant subjects and their qualifying degree. So what is going to happen is that they would say, okay, they would just say कि चलो Indian Evidence Act का we are asking you these 10 sections, but they would ask you something beyond that. This happened in the paper, right? Now, because I was also thorough with my MCQs with regard to other sections, I was able to answer them. So my suggestion, I won't be taking you through each and every law, right? but the laws that are covered by books like Universal, Pariksha Manthan or Singhals, whatever book you are following, right? Try to cover those MCQs from those books, right? You don't need to buy a new book. Whatever book you are following for judiciary, students who are not preparing for judicial service examination can buy Pariksha Manthan. That's a good book. You want to buy Universal, that's also Pariksha Manthan, because that would cover a bit more number of laws than other books would cover, right? Because they are targeting all judicial service examinations. They would have negotiable instruments. They would have your Companies Act also. They have some brief, on that. So that's that. For Information Technology Act, I also had a book on LLM MCQs. I covered that from there. So all that I'm suggesting to you is that for my paper, for law officer examination that I appeared for, I can say you with guarantee, you might not have the detailed information, the detailed conceptual knowledge, because the paper is designed, the MCQ part at least was designed to know that are you thorough with the bare acts, right? So they would ask you section, they would ask you fill in the blanks, right? A very simple example being, they asked you from the definition of what is award. Award includes final award / right, interim award as well. So that was something that was there from the bare act, and I navigated the same question in the bare in the MCQ book. So if you are a judicial service aspirant, you need not buy another book. Follow your MCQs book, right? मैं simply क्या करता था, मैं टिक मार्क कर देता था अपने आंसर्स को, पीछे से आंसर की देख के आंसर टिक मार्क कर दिया. I won't solve them, I would tick mark them and I would go through the book, right? I would go through the MCQs. जो tick marked MCQs, I would go through them. So that is number one. But then you would see that there are certain bare acts which are not covered by your book, by your judicial service examination book. So for that, what would you do? For that, I would either, if they are small bare acts, I would read the bare act. Simply said, Essential Commodities Act is a small bare act. I got the printout of the bare act, I read it. I gave an overview of it. और simply saying आप उनके सिर्फ वो वाले sections पढ़ लो जो उनके sections दिए हुए हैं. CPC, CRPC, IPC, एविडेंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पार्टनरशिप्स होगा, ये वाले जो लॉज हैं यार, दे आर वेरी वेल कवर्ड बाय योर बुक, बाय योर जुडिशियल सर्विस एग्जामिनेशन बुक. इसके सारे के सारे एमसीक्यूज पढ़ लो. जो एक्स्ट्रा लॉज हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल योर इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी, योर इंडियन ईजमेंट्स एक्ट, योर एसेंशियल कमोडिटीज एक्ट, आप उनके सिर्फ वही सेक्शंस पढ़ लो जो सेक्शंस इधर दिए हुए हैं इस पीडीएफ में, जो इन्होंने है वो दिए हुए हैं. सो इट्स अ सेफ बेट. फाइन. सो 40 मार्कर ऐसे कवर हो जाएगा. नेक्स्ट 40 मार्क में आपका कवर करता हूँ. नेक्स्ट 40 मार्क्स में आपका ये सेम है फॉर लॉ ऑफिसर एचआर एंड लॉ ऑफिसर, अपना जो नॉर्मल लॉ ऑफिसर है, इज योर इंग्लिश, रीजनिंग एंड मैथ्स. बहुत सारे यूट्यूब की वीडियोस आपको बोलेंगे दैट यू कैन स्टार्ट गोइंग ऑन फॉर योर आरएस अग्रवाल खरीद लो, क्वांट की आरएस अग्रवाल खरीद लो, लॉजिकल रीजनिंग की. मैं बता रहा हूँ इतना कवर नहीं हो पाएगा आपसे. इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज एक एक चैप्टर के उन्होंने 100 150 क्वेश्चंस दिए हैं. तो मैं क्या करता था, एचपीसीएल के ही ऊपर जो इंजीनियर्स का एग्जाम होता है, HPCL के ही बहुत सारे कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, जैसे अड्डा 24 या बहुत सारे और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं जिनकी यूट्यूब की वीडियोस हैं, राइट? तो उन्होंने मिक्स करके क्वेश्चंस बनाए हुए हैं. जैसे लॉ ऑफिसर एग्जाम, जैसे लॉजिकल रीजनिंग का है, तो उन्होंने क्या करा, 20 क्वेश्चंस की 1 घंटे की यूट्यूब वीडियो बनाई. वो मिक्स्ड क्वेश्चंस डालते हैं कि एक क्वेश्चन वेन डायग्राम का डाल दिया, एक क्वेश्चन उन्होंने उसका फैमिली अरेंजमेंट्स का डाल दिया, एक क्वेश्चन कोडिंग डिकोडिंग का डाल दिया, एक क्वेश्चन उन्होंने, तो ऐसा करते हैं, एक क्वेश्चन वर्बल रीजनिंग का डाल दिया. वो मिक्स करते हैं. तो आज से या कल से, आज का तो दिन निकल गया, कल से 1-1 घंटे की वीडियो, या फिर जब पेपर आने वाला होगा उसके 30 डेज पहले 1-1 घंटे की एक वीडियो लगाओ, वो सॉल्व करो हाथ में. वो वीडियो पॉज कर दो, जब उन्होंने क्वेश्चन स्क्रीन पे डाल दिया, वीडियो पॉज करो, सॉल्व करो, वीडियो ऑन करो, देखो आपका आंसर उनके आंसर से मैच हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा. और अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो वीडियो ध्यान से सुनो. अगर आपका मैच हो रहा है तो आगे बढ़ो, डोंट लिसन टू दैट वीडियो. सो दैट इज योर 40 मार्कर. फॉर 40 रेस्ट ऑफ द 40 व्हाट यू कैन डू इज फॉर 20 मार्क्स आपका ड्राफ्टिंग का एक पेपर है, मतलब 40 नंबर का आपका लीगल एमसीक्यूज हो गया, वो मैंने आपको समझा दिया. 40 नंबर का इंग्लिश, मैथ्स और लॉजिकल रीजनिंग आपको वीडियोस देखकर सॉल्व करना है. अगर आपके पास टाइम नहीं है आरएस अग्रवाल सॉल्व करने का, नथिंग लाइक दैट, अगर आप आरएस अग्रवाल सॉल्व कर सकते हो. जो 40 मार्क्स का आपका ड्राफ्टिंग का पेपर है, उसमें हम आपको सप्लाई कर रहे हैं दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी का कोर्स मटेरियल. उस कोर्स मटेरियल में जितने भी आपके मेजर ड्राफ्ट्स हैं, प्लेंट, रिटन स्टेटमेंट, लीगल नोटिस, ठीक है, और आपका रिटन स्टेटमेंट, रिट पिटिशन, स्पेशल लीव पिटिशन, आपके वो सारे ड्राफ्ट्स उसमें हैं. सो वी आर सप्लाइंग यू विद दिस ड्राफ्टिंग प्लीडिंग कन्वेंस, इनका है फैकल्टी ऑफ लॉ, दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी, ठीक है. ये इनकी वेबसाइट पे पब्लिश्ड है, अदरवाइज हम भी आपको सप्लाई करेंगे, ये उनका कोर्स मटेरियल है. आप ये प्लीडिंग्स इनके ध्यान से इससे पढ़ लेना। मैंने तो रिटन प्रैक्टिस करी थी, लेकिन आप टाइपिंग प्रैक्टिस करना, बिकॉज टाइपिंग का है, कहीं आपकी टाइपिंग अगर स्लो है तो आपका पेपर ना मिस हो जाए कहीं। टाइपिंग का ध्यान रखना, एक दिन 10 दिन पहले आप अपनी टाइपिंग अपनी थोड़ी फास्ट कर लेना, ठीक है, थोड़ी प्रैक्टिस कर लेना टाइपिंग की, राइट। तो आपका 20 नंबर का तो सीधा ड्राफ्टिंग का आएगा, वो आपको मटेरियल सप्लाई कर रहे हैं। फिर आपके 10-10 मार्क्स के 2 क्वेश्चंस होंगे, वो ओपन एंडेड होंगे। जैसे एक मैंने आपको बताया इंडिपेंडेंस ऑफ जुडिशरी के बारे में पूछा हमसे, दूसरा 10 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन हमसे सीपीसी से पूछ लिया, ठीक है। तो इसीलिए जो जो एटलीस्ट सेक्शंस आपको दिए हुए हैं सिलेबस में, एटलीस्ट वो तो सेक्शंस आपको बेरैक से पढ़ने ही पढ़ने हैं। सेक्शन 60 दिया हुआ था हमें, ठीक है। हमसे सेक्शन 60 सीपीसी से अगर क्वेश्चन आया है तो उन्होंने लिस्ट ऑफ सेक्शंस जो हमसे जो हमें दिए हैं, वो सेक्शन 60 उसमें मेंशन था। तो इसलिए आप वो एटलीस्ट वो क्वेश्चंस, वो सेक्शंस जो उन्होंने बेरैक में मेंशन करे, जो उन्होंने लिस्ट में मेंशन करे, एटलीस्ट वो तो आप बेरैक से पढ़ो, राइट। 40 मार्कर मैंने आपको समझा दिया लीगल एमसीक्यूज का, 40 मार्कर आपका लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, मैथ्स और इंग्लिश के लिए, और 40 मार्क्स मैंने आपको ड्राफ्टिंग भी समझा दिया कि ड्राफ्टिंग हम आपको मटेरियल सप्लाई कर रहे हैं, इस पैटर्न को फॉलो करो। और जो 10-10 मार्क्स के जो है वो आपकी कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग पर है, वो आपके लिए वैसे भी सरप्राइज होने वाला है कि वो क्वेश्चन क्या पूछेंगे, उसके ऊपर कोई गाइडेंस वैसे भी मैं आपको ज्यादा दे नहीं सकता, राइट। थैंक यू राघव।
Right. Thank you so much, Ayush. Again, it was very insightful. हर एक एस्पेक्ट को सिर्फ एक लीनियर तरीके से नहीं बताया है कि सिलेबस क्या है, रीड आउट नहीं किया है, बट आयुष हैज गॉन बिहाइंड द पर्पस एज टू व्हाई दैट सिलेबस इज देयर और कैसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा सकते हैं। जैसा बहुत ब्यूटीफुली एक्सप्लेन किया है कि आखिरी में सिलेबस के ये लिखा गया है कि ये एक इंडिकेटिव सिलेबस है, एग्जॉस्टिव सिलेबस नहीं है, तो यू हैव टू बी रेडी फॉर द सरप्राइजेज एज वेल। और जो सबसे अच्छी चीज इसमें हुई है वो ये हुई है कि आइडेंटिफाई किया है उन लोगों को जो लोग ऑलरेडी किसी एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल जुडिशियल सर्विसेज की तैयारी कर रहे हैं। तो बहुत सारे लोगों का एक ये अप्रीहेंशन होता है कि अगर जुडिशियल सर्विसेज की तैयारी के साथ अगर हम कोई और तैयारी करेंगे तो हमारी जुडिशियल सर्विसेज की तैयारी हैम्पर होगी, तो ऐसा नहीं है। देर इज अ कंसिडरेबल ओवरलैप इन सिलेबस व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट जुडिशियल सर्विसेज। और ऐसा भी है कि कुछ लोग मध्य प्रदेश जुडिशरी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, कुछ दिल्ली जुडिशरी की तैयारी कर रहे हैं, या डिफरेंट स्टेट जुडिशियल सर्विसेज की तैयारी कर रहे हैं। तो अभी कहीं पे नोटिफिकेशन आ गया है, कहीं पे नोटिफिकेशन नहीं आया है, तो इट इज ऑलवेज बेटर rather than sitting and just waiting for the notification, it is always better that you keep yourself on track and you keep yourself updated एक बार अपन। और ऐसे एग्जाम्स, इतने प्रेस्टिजियस इंस्टीट्यूशंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के एग्जाम आप बिल्कुल दें, इवन इफ इट इज जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ चेकिंग योर नॉलेज एंड आपकी तैयारी कैसे है। तो थैंक यू सो मच आयुष अगेन फॉर ब्यूटिफुली एक्सप्लेनिंग द सिलेबस फॉर लॉ ऑफिसर एग्जाम। अब देखिए, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज आयुष ने हम सबको बताई वो ये थी कि जो ड्राफ्टिंग है इट इज अ गेम चेंजर बेसिकली, क्योंकि 40 नंबर का आता है। तो दिस इज व्हाट आयुष वाज टॉकिंग अबाउट। ये एक ड्राफ्टिंग प्लीडिंग कन्वेंस का एक मटेरियल है जो कि दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी के वेबसाइट पे है, बिकॉज दिस मटेरियल इज एसेसिबल टू ऑल। तो हमने इसको अपनी भी वेबसाइट पे, वी हैव पुट द लिंक ऑफ दिस होल मटेरियल ऑन ऑन आवर वेबसाइट। बहुत सारे लोग ये कंफ्यूजन है कि ड्राफ्टिंग में जाना है तो सीधे एमसी मोगा उठा लेंगे या कुछ एकदम बहुत भारी कोई ऐसी बुक उठा लेंगे जो कि कंप्लीट ही नहीं होगी। तो हमारा पर्पस कोई भी एग्जाम देने के पीछे ये नहीं है कि अपने को प्रोफेसर बनना है। अपने को बेसिक पर्पस जो ये है कि हमें एग्जाम निकालना है, ये हमेशा क्लियर होना चाहिए। तो आई थिंक दिस इज अ वेरी good resource which has been cited and which has been used in fact by Ayush। ये रिसोर्स यूज किया है और इसीलिए, और क्योंकि ये अच्छा रिसोर्स है इसीलिए उन्होंने एग्जाम क्रैक भी किया है एंड ही इज सिटिंग देयर एंड इन द पोजीशन ऑफ अ लॉ ऑफिसर। तो ऑल ऑफ यू जितने भी लोग हैं यहाँ पे, आई let you know about this resource as well. You can find it even on our website also. The link is there in our website of this resource. तो जैसे आप देख सकते हैं कि जैसे ये स्पेशल लीव पिटिशन क्रिमिनल है, इट इज ओनली जस्ट फॉर द सेक ऑफ सजेशन। ऐसा नहीं है कि यही आएगा, कि अब इसमें बहुत सारी चीजें हैं। जैसे आई थिंक इधर आयुष और इवन शिवेश कैन जस्ट गो थ्रू, कैन एक्सप्लेन आर एस्पिरेंट्स कि जरूरी नहीं है कि सारी चीजें जैसी दी गई हैं एज इट इज लिखना है, बट यू हैव टू just you have to retain the core। जैसे ब्रीफ फैक्ट्स इतने ज्यादा दिए गए हैं, ग्राउंड्स इतने ज्यादा दिए गए हैं, तो ऐसा नहीं है। तो आई वुड लाइक टू जस्ट, ऐसा नहीं है कि पूरा एक्सप्लेन करेंगे हम आपको एक एक एलिमेंट इसका, बट ब्रीफ में कि कैसे करना है। तो इफ शिवेश कैन जस्ट पिच इन।
Yeah, thank you, Raghav.
यस।
So basically, as you can see, this is a special leave petition. So first thing, in any like any kind of drafting, we have to write the name of the court before which you are submitting that particular document, be it a writ petition, be it a special leave petition, or be it a written statement, be it a counter affidavit. So you have to uh, cite the name of the court. After that, the law under which it is being done. Okay, and then the name of the parties, and first petitioner, second the respondent, or the name, if suppose you are like drafting a plaint, then plaintiff and defendant. So accordingly you have to make change. Then you have to just cite certain basic argument, basic things, such as why this is writ petition is being done. After that, declaration, and this you can, because it is an SLP, you have to write a declaration citing that no special. So basically you have to write that similar writ petition or similar SLP has not been filed before any court of law. Okay, or for against which you are coming. Suppose you are challenging a order of a high court in an appeal, LPA, before division bench of the high court. Then you have to write you are challenging this particular order of this particular bench, or order dated this and this, and you are challenging that. Then you will write the brief fact arising out of that particular problem. Okay, suppose as Ayush was talking about uh, mortgage, he has done 5 lakh rupees mortgage, and then so why you have taken that particular mortgage, and what was the basic uh, payment system of that particular mortgage, and how he has defaulted in that payment of mortgage. These kind of basic facts you will write, and which will be neutral. Or suppose if you are a plaintiff, so you will be writing the facts which are in favor of you. You will not write that I have defaulted it. And even if you're writing it, then you will provide a reason why you have defaulted that particular payment. Okay, and then you will write the grounds. Grounds are basically the things in like grounds. You will provide various aspects of the law which have been violated due to the actions of respondent or defendant. Okay, so in the grounds you have to write these things. Okay, and it can be like as many as grounds you can mention. You can mention that. After that, the prayer clause is basically what the kind of relief you are seeking from a particular court. Okay, so you need to understand that whatever you have written in the prayer, only those relief can be granted by the court. Suppose if you filed in suppose in similar situation, the mortgage you have filed, and for the uh, suppose you have filed for like your mortgage should be uh, it should be abolished, and the contract of mortgage was not at all valid. Okay, so if you have not prayed that relief, the court cannot grant the relief of the same. Okay, if you are filing for interim relief, then you should mention that you are also seeking an interim relief in the prayer section. Okay, if you have not sought any prayer specifically, that prayer cannot be granted by the court. Okay, and then lastly you have to mention the name of the advocate, where that particular plaint or SLP or counter affidavit has been drawn or signed, and the date on which it has been done. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच शिवेश, अगेन बहुत ही अच्छे से समझाया। तो देखिए, ये जो हमने आपको समझाया, हम ये नहीं कह रहे हैं कि ये आएगा ही आएगा, बट जो एलिमेंट्स बताए गए हैं उन एलिमेंट्स पे अपने को ध्यान देना है। फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर कोई पिटिशन फाइल करने के लिए आती है, एप्लीकेशन फाइल करने के लिए आती है, तो सबसे जो बेसिक चीजें वो आपको समझ में आना चाहिए। जैसे शिवेश ने ऑलरेडी बता दिया है कि कोर्ट के बारे में बताना चाहिए आपको, आपको इवन पिटिशन के बारे में बताना चाहिए, कौन उसमें पार्टीज हैं उसके बारे में बताना चाहिए। और जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज बताई है, व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट फैक्ट्स इट हैज टू बी अनडिस्प्यूटेड फैक्ट्स, एज इन something which is already given in the problem. It should not be something that you have assumed. तो ये बेसिक जो मिस्टेक्स हैं वो अपने को अवॉइड करने हैं। जब ग्राउंड्स में आएंगे तो भले ही आप ग्राउंड्स में अपने कंटेंशन बताएं, बट वो चीज फैक्ट्स में नहीं आनी चाहिए। तो ये जो बेसिक चीजें हैं अपने को अवॉइड करनी है। और जैसा जब ये फाइल हम आपके साथ शेयर करेंगे, अभी मैं पाथ भी बताऊंगा कहाँ पे अवेलेबल है, तो ये मत सोचिएगा कि जितना इसमें दिया गया है उतना ही अपने को लिखना है या इतना लेंदी अपने को लिखना है, ऐसा नहीं है। आपके पास हो सकता है इतना टाइम ना हो, तो जो बेसिक एलिमेंट्स हैं उतने को अपने को रिटेन करना है ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ अवेलेबल फैक्ट्स। तो ड्राफ्टिंग में,
राघव,
यस
राघव
यस
आई वुड
आयुष,
लाइक टू ऐड है। तो
यस।
मैं आपको अपना एक्सपीरियंस बताता हूँ। मेरी मैथ्स बहुत बुरी है, ठीक है। तो मुझे बहुत क्लैरिटी है अपनी लाइफ के बारे कि मुझे मैथ्स सबसे एंड में छूना है। तो आपको सबसे पहले एक ये भी डिसीजन लेना है ड्यूरिंग योर प्रिपरेशन कि 40-40 मार्क्स के 3 कंपार्टमेंट्स हैं। आप प्रिपरेशन के टाइम पे भी अपने आप को ये स्ट्रैटेजाइज करो कि आपको पहला कौन सा अटेम्प्ट करना है। फॉर एग्जांपल लीगल एमसीक्यूज, आई गेस यू ऑल शुड गो फॉर फर्स्ट फॉर लीगल एमसीक्यूज, क्योंकि आपको आता है तो आएगा, नहीं आता नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि प्रॉब्लम बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस नहीं आए थे, ठीक है। तो आपको या तो उन्होंने फिल इन द ब्लैंक पूछ लिया, या कोई वर्ड पूछ लिया, या सेक्शन नंबर पूछ लिया, तो फिर वो आपको या तो आता है या फिर नहीं आता। अटेम्प्ट सब करना है, क्योंकि हमारे टाइम पे तो नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं थी। तो चाहे बी सी, जय माता दी ए, जय माता दी बी, जो लगा के आना है लगाओ, ठीक है। बट हर पूरे के सारे क्वेश्चंस अटेम्प्ट जरूर करने हैं। तो मैंने लीगल एमसीक्यू सबसे पहले अटेम्प्ट करे थे, फिर मैं ड्राफ्टिंग पे आ गया था। अपने लिए मार्क कर लेना कि इसके ऊपर मुझे टाइम नहीं लगाना है ड्राफ्टिंग के ऊपर, ठीक है। तो मैंने बहुत बहुत ही बेयर मिनिमल सा ड्राफ्ट बनाया था, कोर्ट का नाम लिख के, पार्टीज का नाम लिख के, कि ये दिस इज अ रिटन स्टेटमेंट अंडर ऑर्डर 8 रूल 1 ऑफ द कोड ऑफ सिविल प्रोसीजर। प्रिलिमिनरी ऑब्जेक्शंस लिखे, कोई स्टैंडर्ड होते हैं इसमें आपको मिलेगा, ठीक है, जो आपको है कि दिस सूट इज बार्ड बाय लिमिटेशन, दिस सूट इज नॉट फाइल्ड इन द अप्रोप्रिएट जुरिस्डिक्शन। प्रिलिमिनरी ऑब्जेक्शंस हैं कि इसमें कोर्ट फीस अटैच नहीं करी है, एक सिमिलर मैटर ऑलरेडी एडजुडिकेट हो चुका है, देयरफॉर दिस इज बार्ड अंडर रेस जुडिकाटा अंडर सेक्शन 11 सीपीसी। या फिर अगर कोई ऑल्टरनेटिव लेनी है कि दिस मैटर हैज बीन फाइल्ड इन अनदर कोर्ट, देयरफॉर दिस मैटर इज sub judice under section 10 of CPC, and for the harassment of this for the defendant in the current matter, the person has filed a plaint against me. So ये सारी preliminary objections यहाँ पे लिखी हुई हैं आपकी सहूलियत के लिए। मैं ये डिस्क्लेमर दे रहा हूं, ये जरूरी नहीं है कि यही आएंगे। मैं अपनी तरीके तरफ से आपको 5 ड्राफ्ट्स बता रहा हूं जो आपको करके जाने हैं डेफिनेटली, राइट। यू कैन नोट दोज डाउन, मैं चैट बॉक्स में लिखूंगा व्हेन आइदर शिवेश सर और राघव सर विल बी स्पीकिंग। फर्स्ट इज प्लेंट। यू कैनॉट प्रोसीड फर्दर विदाउट नोइंग द ड्राफ्ट ऑफ अ प्लेंट, ठीक है। प्लेंट का सबसे नंबर पहला प्लेंट आपको ड्राफ्ट करना आना चाहिए। रिटन स्टेटमेंट आपको ड्राफ्ट करना आना चाहिए। शो कॉज नोटिस आपको ड्राफ्ट करना आना चाहिए, लीगल नोटिस या शो कॉज नोटिस। रिट पिटिशन लॉ एचआर के पेपर में आया था, अगर हमें रिटन स्टेटमेंट आया था तो रिट पिटिशन लॉ एचआर के पेपर में आया था। और इंटरिम रिलीफ के लिए ऑर्डर 39 की एप्लीकेशन फॉर इंटरिम रिलीफ और इंटरिम इंजंक्शन, ऑर्डर 39 के अंडर रूल 1 रूल 2, ऑर्डर 39 की एप्लीकेशन आपको ड्राफ्ट करनी आनी चाहिए। तो 5 हैं। प्लेंट आपको आनी चाहिए, रिटन स्टेटमेंट आपको आनी चाहिए, शो कॉज नोटिस लीगल नोटिस आपको आना चाहिए, रिट पिटिशन डेफिनेटली आनी चाहिए। रिट पिटिशन मुझे लगता है फिर से रिपीट शायद हो सकता है लॉ एचआर के, क्योंकि एज शिवेश सर हैज आल्सो कंटिन्यूअसली मेंशन्ड दैट the one of the most important draftings that they have in their office is writ petition. Service matters can only be either they can be filed before tribunals, but they are usually also filed before the constitutional courts. So writ petitions plays an important role, definitely, because this paper is to test your basics. They won't ask you to draft some kind of an application before a central appellate tribunal or some kind of a tribunal. This is my understanding. It is very much possible that they might take up the level of this paper this time, and they might ask you to draft an application before a tribunal. But my understanding is writ petition can be repeated, and application under order 39. These are the 5 drafts you should definitely prepare for, which you can be asked. Basics. Raghav?
थैंक यू सो मच आयुष। देखो, बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट 5 प्रोबेबल्स और बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग प्रोबेबल्स आयुष ने बताए हैं। तो आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी पीपल वर जॉटिंग इट डाउन, बट ये सारी चीजें लिख लो। और सबसे पहले जब आप स्टार्ट करो तो यहीं से स्टार्ट करो, बहुत अटपटी चीजों से स्टार्ट मत करना। ये बेसिक चीजें हैं, प्लेंट, रिपिटिशन। तो अगर अपने को यही नहीं आइडिया है, प्लेंट के बारे में आइडिया नहीं है, और सीधे आप विल या प्रोबेट पे चले गए, उसकी ड्राफ्टिंग देख रहे हो, जैसे मैंने बोला कि बहुत सारे बच्चे बहुत तेज भागते हैं और मोगा उठा ली और मोगा से ड्राफ्टिंग एंड प्लीडिंग और वहां से करने लगे। बहुत ऐसी ऐसी चीजें जो कि इम्प्रोबेबल्स हैं, जरूरी नहीं है कि वो आना ही आना है। तो सबसे पहले आप बेसिक से स्टार्ट करिए, प्लेन से, ऐसी चीजों से स्टार्ट करिए। उसके बाद अगर इसके आपको कॉन्सेप्ट समझ में आ जाए, आप खुद से टाइमर लगा के प्रिपेयर करो कि इतना टाइम है आपके पास, अब इतने में आप एक्चुअली में कंप्लीट कर पा रहे हो या नहीं कर पा रहे, देन यू मूव ऑन टू अदर applications. So this is it from our side for this session. Now the house is open for Q&A, and I would like to request either Anirudh or Udit.
Sir, they have given permission to unmute.
Yes, you give permission. People can just raise their hand and they can ask questions, whatever questions they are having. And again, I'm saying बहुत कम ऐसा होता है, because all of us, हमने जो एग्जाम्स क्रैक किए और आज हम यहाँ पे बैठे हैं, तो हम समझते हैं इसका रेलेवेंस। उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे जब हमें एग्जाम देना था, तब ऐसा लगता था कि यार कोई 5 मिनट के लिए भी हमसे बात कर ले, हमें बता दे कि कौन सी चीजें हमें प्रिपेयर करनी है, किस पे कंसोलिडेट अपने को करना है, तो हो सकता है ये एग्जाम निकल जाए। तो आपके पास एक ये गोल्डन अपॉर्चुनिटी है, जो भी क्वेश्चंस आपके दिमाग में आ रहे हैं वो क्वेश्चन पूछिए। और अभी मैंने देखा था किसी ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था कि सीटीसी कितना है। तो आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग विच इज ऑलरेडी गिवन इन द नोटिफिकेशन कि 16.98 लाख पर एनम है सीटीसी। बट ठीक है, वो भी एक क्वेश्चन आपके दिमाग में आया और ऑब्वियसली रेलिवेंट क्वेश्चन है। बट वैसे क्वेश्चन पूछिए जो आपको हेल्प करें इस एग्जाम को क्रैक करने के लिए। So, all right. So now the house is open for question. People can ask question. They can raise their hand. They can ask question. Yukti has raised her hand. So, Yukti, you can go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
First of all, I would like to thank you for conducting this session because there was very limited insight on the internet regarding the HPCL Law Officer exam. And I would also like to thank Aayush sir and Shivesh sir. So I have one doubt. As I could check, last year the syllabus was released on around 30th August 2022. I just wanted to know what is going to be the timeline of how and when the exams and are going to be conducted for this exam.
Yukti, I would like to take this question because I have been, I would say, a little bit of a victim for this. I'll tell you how. I applied for this paper after I came back to my home for preparing for this for examinations. I applied in the month of July and then I forgot about this paper, to be very honest, right? Because there was no notification. And then I got to know about this paper when the roll number was sent to me on mail. So I had just had 20 days to prepare for this exam. Then I opened up the HPCL website and I realized that the syllabus was updated somewhere in August, and there was also a pattern that was shared with all of us. So I felt that I am 1.5 months late, right? To be very honest, no one of us, neither Shivesh sir nor I, would I be able to tell you that what will be the timeline. Even this time, I recommended in the training session we had that there should be some calendar that should come, but the only thing that's going to happen is that you will have to go to the website again and again, open careers, and in that careers you will be able to see. So you have to track almost once a day whether or not the syllabus is out or not. But this syllabus we are sharing with you. Raghav is going to share the link with you how you can download this PDF. I would hope that the syllabus is not changing, but still you will have to match it with the syllabus, the recent syllabus that would be updated and the dates that would come up for the paper.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayush. Anyone else? I think Ishan has raised his hand. Ishan, go ahead.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Firstly, sir, I want to thank all of you to arrange such a lovely session on how to, crack this examination. So my question is that if we want to pursue in-house legal counsel, So do we need prior experience before going into companies and all? Because recently I was seeing that H&M had rolled out a vacancy in the legal department, but they were asking for 5 to 7 years of prior experience. So my question is that if can we directly go into these companies, or should we, or do we need any prior experience before going into companies and all? That's also.
Hi, Ishan. This is Shivesh. So basically it depends upon the organization to organization, and most if you apply for a IT sector in-house counsel, they might ask you experience for even HPCL is asking for experience of 1 year. So it totally depends upon organization to whether take a fresher or take an experienced person. Okay, so we cannot, or nobody can predict that whether H&M or Capgemini or Accenture will come with a post without for a fresher. So it is totally up to the organization.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Uh, Thank you so much, Shivesh. I think there are other people who are having some queries. Shubham, please go ahead. And after Shubham, Adesh is there. So Shubham.
Yes, sir. Pranam, sir. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for this event. सर मेरा बेसिक क्वेश्चन था, वैसे मैं जुडिशियल एस्पायरेंट हूँ, मैंने मेंस एग्जाम दिया। तो सर अभी लास्ट मतलब जैसे लीगल में मतलब ऑल दो वैसे इश्यूज नहीं है, बट सर मैथ्स और लॉजिकल में मतलब बहुत नया ही है मतलब मेरे लिए। तो सर इसके लिए बेसिक कितना कवर अप करें, मतलब कोई भी चीज़, जैसे मैंने अभी लास्ट सेबी के एग्जाम भी देखा था, तो यदि कुछ बेसिक भी अपन पढ़ते हैं तो फिर कुछ काफ़ी डेप्थ में पूछ लेते हैं, या तो कुछ लॉजिकल या जो भी चीज़ें। तो क्या एरिया जो मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट जो कवर करें, क्योंकि वो कहीं ना कहीं मतलब वो लैक है थोड़ा सा।
Shubham, I would like to take this question. So welcome to the club. Actually हम लॉ लेते ही इसलिए हैं क्योंकि हमें मैथ्स नहीं आती, ठीक है। एटलीस्ट मेरे केस में तो यही था, मैंने इसलिए लॉ ली थी बिकॉज मैथ्स नहीं आती। बट फिर जब मुझे पता चला कि क्लैट कॉमन लॉ एडमिशन टेस्ट में भी मैथ्स था, और फिर फोर्थ ईयर में आए तो इनकम टैक्स में भी न्यूमेरिकल सॉल्व करने पड़ रहे हैं, तो ऐसा लगता है कि भाई हमारे साथ धोखा हो गया। और अब और धोखा लगता है जब अब रिक्रूटमेंट एग्जाम्स में भी दे आस्क मैथ्स। ओके, सो आई विल बी वेरी क्लियर विद यू। आई वॉज वेरी ऑनेस्ट विद माई सेल्फ कि मुझे मैथ्स नहीं आती, और 20 दिन में मैथ्स में कर नहीं सकता। मैं स्कूल में नहीं मुझे आती थी, तो अब स्कूल के 12 साल में अगर मैथ्स नहीं सीख पाया तो इन 20 दिनों में तो मैं बिल्कुल नहीं सीखने वाला। तो व्हाट डिड आई डू? आई स्ट्रेंथेंड माई लॉ, आई स्ट्रेंथेंड माई ड्राफ्टिंग। ये जो आपको कोर्स मटेरियल मैं आपको भी प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ, दिस इज माई फ्रूट दैट आई गॉट आफ्टर अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च की बेस्ट कोर्स मटेरियल कहाँ अवेलेबल है, जो मैं आपको इस उसमें दे रहा हूँ इस सेशन में, राइट। सो दिस वुड गिव यू एन अपर हैंड। सो आई प्रैक्टिस्ड अ लॉट ऑफ ड्राफ्ट्स। आई एम प्राउड टू से कि मैथ्स मुझे नहीं आती थी और मैंने नहीं करी, और मैंने जो भी बस मैंने अटेम्प्ट्स करे। बट आई वुड बी ऑल्सो वेरी प्राउड टू से कि मैंने फिर लॉ बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ा था, मैंने बहुत रिवाइज करा था, मैंने बेर एक्ट्स पढ़े थे, मैंने ड्राफ्ट्स अच्छे से करे थे। अगर सीपीसी का वो सेक्शन 60 का क्वेश्चन आया था तो मैंने इतनी बार बेर एक्ट पढ़ा था कि फिर मैं सेक्शन 60 के कम से कम 15 एलिमेंट्स लिख के आया था, कौन सी चीजें एग्जाम्प्ट है, जो मुझे अभी भी याद है। सेक्शन 60 CPC is the longest section out of 158 sections of CPC. So be very sure I wrote that quality answers. If I was very sure कि मुझे नहीं आता मैथ्स, तो मुझे ये श्योर था कि मुझे लॉ और ड्राफ्टिंग बहुत अच्छे से आता है। तो मैंने अपना 80 मार्क्स का, देखो ना, 120 में से 80 मार्क्स का तो आपका लॉ है, उसमें से 10 मार्क्स का एडिशनल इंग्लिश है, और 10 मार्क्स की जो लॉजिकल रीजनिंग पूछ रहे हैं वो भी बहुत डिफिकल्ट नहीं है। तो अराउंड 105 टू 110 मार्क्स का पेपर तो ऑलरेडी ही आपके फेवर में है ना। 80 मार्क्स का लॉ हो गया, 20 से 25 मार्क्स का आपका जो है आपका इंग्लिश और लॉजिकल रीजनिंग हो गया। कि सिर्फ 10 से 15 नंबर तक की जो गेम दिक्कत है मैथ्स की, वो किसी को भी नहीं है। मुझे लगता है जो भी लॉ कर रहे हैं वो दे आर नॉट गुड एट मैथ्स। आई हैव अ फीलिंग, इस होप के साथ मैं पेपर देने गया था। तो अगर आपको मैथ्स नहीं आती शुभम, कुछ कोई बात नहीं, मत करो मैथ्स, पर अपने फिर लॉ बहुत स्ट्रांग रखो, ड्राफ्टिंग बहुत स्ट्रांग रखो। ये मेरी स्ट्रैटेजी है, ये मेरा आपको कोई सजेशन नहीं है, ये मेरी स्ट्रैटेजी है अगर आपको लॉ मैथ से इतना डर लगता है तो।
राइट, थैंक यू सो मच आयुष। ये जो क्वेश्चंस हैं बहुत बेसिक क्वेश्चंस हैं, और सबको ही होते हैं, क्योंकि हम सब लॉ बैकग्राउंड से हैं। तो किसी ने क्लैट दिया है या किसी ने दूसरे एग्जाम्स दिए हैं, तो वो 5 साल पहले दिए हैं। जब उन्होंने ये लॉ ऑफिसर का एग्जाम अब जब देने आ रहे हैं, ग्रेजुएशन के बाद दे रहे हैं, तो बहुत ही बेसिक डाउट है और बहुत ऑनेस्ट तरीके से आयुष ने वाली चीज समझाई कि जो चीज आप किसी चीज में अगर वीक हैं, तो कंसंट्रेट करिए उस चीज पे जो आपको पता है कि जिसमें आप स्कोर कर सकते हैं, रादर देन उस 20 दिन में अपना टाइम वेस्ट करने का उस चीज के ऊपर जिसको आपको पता है कि नहीं हो पाएगी। तो अगेन इट वाज वेरी इंसाइटफुल। और I think 3 people have raised their hands. Hemant, Adesh, and Yukti. So I think Adesh, you can go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Raghav sir, and thank you, Shivesh sir and Ayush sir. I think we are really glad that you organized this session for us, and it is really insightful. So I have more than one question, but some of them are quite preliminary in nature. So one is Ayush sir was discussing the strategy of how we should be approaching the exam, what section we should be approaching first or attempting first. So is there a specific time limit given to different section, or is it a cumulative time for all the three sections? It depends on us how much time we take for
It's
a section.
cumulative. It is your strategy. There won't be, for example, I know in CAT, I guess this happens at first section would open, then you solve it, then next would open. But this would, you can skip to the next part. You can skip to the next segment, attempt that, come back to this segment. So it's a very user-friendly paper, so that you can strategize and have a breakup. For example, I said maths को I won't even give more than 2 minutes because guess work में time थोड़ी लगता है, वो तो कुछ भी BBB CCC दबा दो, ठीक है? तो I gave the least time. So it's a user-friendly paper. It's a cumulative time.
Okay sir, thank you sir. Also sir, जैसा आपने बताया कि आपके टाइम सीबीटी में नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं थी, so we should be expecting the same, right? मतलब unless there is a huge change because it hasn't taken place
ये
till.
रहा है क्योंकि हमारा पेपर तो नया है एचपीसीएल वालों का, लॉ लॉ के लिए, सॉरी। इंजीनियर्स का पेपर होता रहा है बहुत देर से, तो उनके पेपर हमेशा से ही विदाउट नेगेटिव मार्किंग रहे हैं, ठीक है? तो आई वुड एज्यूम कि इस बार भी नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होगी, बट प्लीज बी वेरी श्योर, आपको वो नोटिफिकेशन जो आएगी इनकी पैटर्न की और रूल्स की, वो आपको पढ़नी है। बट मेरा अगर आप मुझसे पूछ रहे हो कि व्हाट इज योर इनटेक और व्हाट्स योर इनपुट, है ना, व्हाट्स योर प्रिडिक्शन, मेरी प्रिडिक्शन है कि इस बार भी नेगेटिव मार्किंग नहीं होगी। इस बार भी यू वुड हैव नॉर्मल स्कोर बेस्ड।
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, also, while you are answering the open-ended questions of law, how are you approaching them? Means in terms of the structure, and secondly, the word limit.
So I was very horrible at it. Once I reviewed my answers coming out of the examination hall, I got to know that this was a very bad job done, and the reason is that तुम किसी pressure में होते हो when you are writing the paper. So it's a very good question that you asked. If you are sure कि what structure do I want to write with, you should definitely. So my structure would be this now. If I would sit back into that paper and attempt it better, the first thing that I would definitely go in for is to define the scope of the question. For example, if I was asked a question on independence of judiciary, I would first define the scope. What do I mean by independence of judiciary? From independence from whom? Independence from executive, independence from legislature, right? Or independence from public opinion? What am I talking about? And then I would first, at least in 3 to 4 lines, I would first define what is independence of judiciary. Then I would go on to address the question. What did I do was I started directly with this ADM Jabalpur judgment, right? I started with this was the darkest hour of Indian judiciary when the Supreme Court passed the habeas corpus judgment. I explained that, then went on, and then I realized it was very haphazard, right? Very haphazard manner. So, but still, I believe I got very less marks in drafting, in this open-ended questions. My drafting went well. A written statement I practiced even a day before, and I was very lucky enough to get written statement in the paper. But my papers on that open-ended questions were very bad. So you won't get much time. You won't have to write a lot. So just start with the introduction, define the scope, then write the body, and then the conclusion. That's it. Nothing more complicated. You won't get a lot of time to answer it. Introduction, body, conclusion. That's it.
Yes, sir. Sir, just two more questions. First is with respect to the timeline. Means since the registration is expected to close the day after tomorrow, at around what time will the exams be taking place?
So this again is a question, but after we, I guess within, I don't know, you will have to wait for the official dates, but you can expect the paper anytime within 1 to 2 months. Don't, don't be caught off guard. Keep preparing for the exam.
Yes, sir. Just one last question, sir. This is with respect to the experience certificate that I've asked to annex in the application. So, sir, with respect to this, is it compulsory for it to be sent by the State Bar Council or the Bar Association as well?
The bar association would give you the experience certificate that he is the regular member of the bar who has been appearing before the courts and he has good moral character. This certificate would be issued to you by the bar association, and the bar council certificate you will also have to bring. So both these documents would suffice.
So, sir, with respect to Bar Council, it's the enrollment certificate, right? And
The enrollment certificate, the license, and the bar association certificate that they would issue you that since so and so date, Adesh has been appearing before this so and so court from so and so date, and he has a good moral character. That experience certificate would be issued to you by your respective bar association, be it the district court, be it the high court.
yes, thank you so much, Ayush, sir. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure listening to you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ayush. And thank you, Adish, for your question. Now I would like to request Hemant if he can, because he wanted to ask something. Hemant.
Hello. Thank you, Raghav sir, for the opportunity. Uh, Adish, I would like to ask one question. So now you have been with the HPCL for a long time. So during this time, you must have experienced certain things in the company, and you must have interacted with your friends and colleagues who are working in a law firm or especially in a in-house position in a company. So how do you see the difference in the working, the prospects, and the life as a like growth and income? Like when you compare with the same uh, so like that's the question. Basic question is basically how do you see the growth and salary prospect in a private company and HPCL?
Shivesh, you are better suited to give
Yeah.
answer on this.
Yeah. So the thing is, Hemant, right? So Hemant, this thing is you have to be very wary of that. This is a government organization. Okay. So yes, there will be differences in terms of monetary gains over a period of time. But as you know, as you have already read the notification that this is quite lucrative when while you are starting. I think like one or two government jobs are there who might be paying more than that. Other than like in all over India, there is no government job which provide this much LPA at starting point of time. So I think, and but over a time, this is a government organization, so you have to be wary of. But there are certain things like my friends are working in law firms and they may be getting paid, but it is a very subjective term to like what do you like most about your job. So professionally you will grow very well in this organization or in any organization. So professionally you will go very well. And the thing I love most about my job is apart from professional growth, I get to move a lot, move a lot throughout this throughout India. And for like last 5 years, I have been almost to every state in India for work purpose. So you'll get to move a lot. You have good friendships and anything like company cares about you. It is not like that you will not be able to do well. You will for like definitely do. You have a professional growth as much as you want. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shivesh. I think this was very, very relevant. It had to be addressed for a simple reason because most of them had the same query that how is it different from a law firm job or an in-house counsel in some private company. So this was answered very beautifully by Shivesh. Now
Raghav, I just want to add in.
yeah, sure,
So,
sure. Go
yeah,
ahead.
so I want to tell you all that this is it's just been 3 months I have joined HPCL. But it's a beautiful place to be at. I'll tell you how. The company takes care of your breakfast. Then after your breakfast, when you feel that you're full, the company then they would serve you with fruits. After you're done with your fruits, then they would give you lunch. The lunch is really good. They would have buffet, right? Then you after you have your lunch, after you have your sweet dish, then you think that you are full, but then they would serve you with snacks. Before you leave office, they would serve you with tea, right? So the food part, whenever I tell someone who is a judge or who is in a law firm, irrespective what they're earning, irrespective what high stake contracts or high stake litigations they're handling, once I tell them that the company feeds us, the company is literally is like taking care of your mother would put an apple before you, that you eat this apple, you eat this banana, you eat this. So like that the company takes care of you. And when it is a weekend and we have to have food at our own, we have to arrange our maid or we have to go out and have food, we feel like, okay, I wish I was in office today. So imagine that is that is just an element I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you, that how HPCL, as compared to any other private organizations, I have worked with the Supreme Court of India. I was a law researcher, and I have worked with an advocate, before High Court of Punjab and Haryana. So I worked with an advocate. I worked in the Supreme Court as a law researcher. Now I am an in-house in HPCL. This is an in-house position, right? You cannot plead you cannot plead matters. You will also have to get your license suspended. Be very sure. License suspended because you can't practice. Now you're on a payroll with the government organization. You're also one other thing, the 7 years practice that is required to appear for higher judicial service. Uh, in Delhi, I guess they have interpreted that we will count 7 years, but in other states, they will not count you as a practicing lawyer for examinations like the district attorney examination or the public prosecutor for CBI, who should have a 7-year continuing practice or higher judicial service. So these are the things that you have to take care of before appearing for this examination and joining the job. But otherwise, if you're asking me how is the company, let me tell you, this is a beautiful company to work at. The bosses are amazing. The food is really good. The environment is beautiful. Engineers sometimes have problem because they have to work at really high risk places such as the refinery, LPG bottling plants, and all of this. But we as lawyers have to sit in very comfortable offices, right? You would be given a laptop. You would be given allowances. Your mobile phone bill is taken care of if we are talking about money. Your medical insurance is just in the morning. I went to the hospital, I got a very huge bill, but then someone reminded me that, my entire medical bills will be taken care of by the company. My phone, my my bills, my phone bills, everything will be taken care of by the company apart from the salary, right? So it's a company that won't pay you as exciting as a law firm would pay you. Perhaps law firms would pay you a lot. The starting joining salary is, I guess, 1.25 lakh in a good law firm. That's your in hand, and then a 4 lakh bonus that you would get towards the end of the year. I totally agree to it. I admit that. But this company, apart from financials, is taking care, in every other sense, your health, your food, your well-being. So I guess it's a beautiful place to work at if you want to be at HPCL. That's my 3 months experience that I have had.
Thanks, Ayush. You explained the query very beautifully. And I think I am already sold for the food factor, and others will also agree with me in this respect. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Ayush, and thank you, Hemant, for your question. Again, this is something which is quite relevant for the aspirants. As to we always say that perks and perquisites are very important, but we are not aware as to what those perks are. So you have explained your experience when it comes to perks very beautifully. So these are some things which are very important. Now, this was again, it's a very hotly debated topic as to whether one should go early in the career for a job which gives them good salary, very good salary, but at the expense of their work life balance. So I think this interaction that you had with Hemant would give you a fair bit of idea as to what you can expect when you join HPCL. I think Yukti had one question again. She raised.
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I have three small questions. I'm sorry, I'm putting up too many questions. One is that I just wanted to know if you can give a slight idea regarding the cutoff for clearing the first level of the examination.
Yeah, so the cutoff was 75 marks out of 120, and my score was 84 point something for general category. I do not know about other categories because they did not show the results for other categories. But for general category, it was 75 out of 120.
Okay, sir. And sir, one more thing. I don't know whether I should be asking this question or not, but since HPCL is a government organization, and you said that there will be open-ended questions in the third section of the examination, I wanted to know if we are expected to answer in a government-pleasing manner, or it's just a question that came into my mind.
No, this is a good question. The reason being it's a good question is that Yukti, I guess you are from UPES, if I'm not wrong.
Sir, I know you from the MUN circuit.
Right. So
I was about to message you on LinkedIn actually later.
Right. So I have been an MUNer. So when it comes to politically debated question, even it feels very difficult to, restrict myself. So I ended up writing things like, so I justified that this judiciary is independent, stating that, see, this government is a little conservative government, right? It's a little right-wing government, but at the same time, you had a lot of judgments which were, which were against the ideology of the judgment. That is how I established in my answer that, see, had this been a judiciary that is controlled in and out, right and left, up and down by the executive or by the legislature, you won't have had such judgments. At that time, this judgment X versus Principal Secretary of Health was passed, which
on the abortion.
On abortion, right?
Yes.
So that judgment was passed by Justice Chandrachud. So I wrote that judgment. That, see, had this judgment, had this government, had this been pro-government, this judiciary had been pro-government, they won't have declared notifications passed by the government as ultra vires. That too on grounds that are totally different, totally opposite of conservatism, or totally different, opposite from the right-wing ideology of the judgment. That's how I did that. But still, I qualified this paper, so I believe that this organization, Hindustan Petroleum, is accommodative of different views. But yes, you might not be very radical in your opinions. I somehow created a balance that, see, the job of the judiciary is definitely to put the government in check, be it whatever regime, be it X, be it Y, be it L party, be it Z party. The job of the judiciary has always been to keep the government in check, because that's the job of judiciary. So be very sure this is a very accommodative organization. The political ideology would not be imposed upon you, and you can be pretty much as long as you are legally sound in your answers. I don't think so your ideology anyhow would be a concern.
Understood, sir. Thank you. And so one last question. So I've already filled up the form. Can I ask some form related details as a question?
You can ask that on LinkedIn if that's not if that won't help others, that we can address. But if you think that query can help others as well, you can ask me here.
Yeah, I think because I think I made a small blunder while filling up the form. So in the later stage of the form, there was an option of uploading the resume. Right. And in the second stage, it was if you have any experience, just update that. So I mentioned that I have a 1 year experience. I wrote the chambers where I worked at. And in the resume part, I simply just uploaded my CV. And I think after 5 minutes of uploading the form and submitting the fees, I realized that okay, they did not ask for my experience letter or certificate from the bar. So then I realized that I cannot edit the form. So is it advisable that I fill up the form again with a separate ID, or they're just going to okay my resume by seeing my CV?
You send this question to careers@hpcl.in. There's an email ID. You ask this question to them only.
Okay.
And if you feel that, like, suppose they do not respond, because if you don't get any response, and if you feel that this might hamper your chances in appearing, then I will advise you that you fill the form again with a separate email ID. Okay. because the time is like it is as soon as Monday, even if you like
Yes, sir.
nobody is going to like I don't think anybody will be responding you on Sunday. So these people will come on Monday and they might respond you. But if you do not get respond and you think that this is going to be like your form will not be accepted, then I will advise you that using a separate email ID, you fill the form.
Understood, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivesh and Ayush. There was one more question. I think it was from Dhirendra, that whether one can fill both, one can opt for both HR law officer as well as law officer while filling the form.
Shivesh sir, would you like to take that question?
Yeah. So the thing is, last year I was talking to Ayush about it. So Ayush informed me that last year it was like separate paper, like different date were given for law officer and as well as for HR officers, and even the interview and GT were also conducted on different dates. So, but the thing is, one of my colleague, like one of my junior was asking about the same last year only. So I queried HR about it, okay, recruitment department, and they informed me that it is only for like you can opt for one exam. So because like they are on all of them are the separate exams, so it might happen that the like both of date of the exam as well as the GT may fall upon on the same date. So that is why you should be wary of this fact. It might happen that like because they can very well say that you can only apply for one single exam, or you can like write about it on the careers at the rate HPCL.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Shivesh, and thank you so much, Adesh, for such a wonderful message. Before we proceed forward, I think if Ria is available right now, Ria also had some question in the chat box. Ria, are you there? All right. So I read the question. The question was that she was in the first year of college and she wanted to know when she can actually. All right. Ria is already there. Ria, go ahead. Ria, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So I'm a first year student at Campus Law Center. So I'm preparing for UPSC also right now. So I wanted to ask, when should I start preparing for this HPCL exam along with my internships and studies?
I would take this question with pride. Ria, you don't need to prepare for this test in your very first year, to be very honest, right? Because for two reasons. One is I took uh, for two reasons. One is that this examination is a dynamic paper. So the syllabus that you are studying today might not be relevant for what might come after 2.5 years, right, after graduation. Second is, if you're preparing for UPSC, be very sure UPSC requires everything, right? So you cannot take the risk of distracting yourself for any other examinations. Yes, God forbidding you think that UPSC is not your destiny. Then in that case, Raghav is there, I am there, Shivesh sir is there. In case even after 2 years you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, we will definitely guide you. But for now, we would suggest you there's no need to prepare from now onwards for this exam. You can comfortably and without any concern, you can continue your preparation for UPSC, because that paper definitely would consume at least 2 years for your, to cover the syllabus.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ayush. Uh, now, before we can, if anyone do not have any questions, then I would like to just proceed to let you people know where you can find the material. Since I've already told you that there is, I think before we proceed, Dhirendra is also having a question. Sir, can you give insights on how to manage both judiciary preparation as well as preparation for this exam? Shivesh or Ayush, anyone, if you would like to take this question.
Shivesh sir, you can start and then I'll add on.
So the thing is, just like Ayush was telling you guys, that most of the questions, most of the syllabus for the judiciary as well as the law officers, if we are talking about the law officer exam, both of them, most of this act coincide with each other, and you do not have to prepare separately for this. But if you are thinking about applying for a HR law officer, then I will assume that it will take at least 1 hour of your daily time towards this thing, because you have to study labor laws, which usually do not are not part of the syllabus of any judicial exam. So you have to be very wary of that fact that uh, in normal course, this preparation will not take much of your time, apart from if you are not planning to appear for HR officer exam.
So I would say I totally concur with Shivesh sir that for law HR definitely you require a specialized preparation for the test. Whereas for law officer examination, I would be very honest with you that I was preparing for judicial service examination. Uh, I took not more than 15 to 20 days of specialized preparation to crack this test. Right. The only other things that I had to study was, for example, the Indian Easements Act, intellectual property law. Then there were certain sections of the Petroleum Act that they are given in the syllabus. Then Indian easements I've mentioned, Consumer Protection Act that was not there, was not a part of judicial service examination, but that I was able to cover within a week. And then 7 days I focused on my drafting and as well as logical reasoning and this, because the notification for any judiciary was not out yet, right? So I took that risk that I would prepare for this examination, and I kept on studying for this. So if you're preparing for judicial service examination, this exam for law officers won't take you much effort. Within 15-20 days, I guess the things that are not covered by your judicial service examination, you can cover them up within 20 days. Now I feel that this exam would have a little higher competition. I guess this exam did not get a lot of advertisement last. There was no Raghav last year to give a mentorship project. So it was a hidden truth, some kind of hidden secret. But now it is out there. A lot of students are going to apply for this. So I guess it will take a little more than 20 days this time. But still, this is not as if this would totally detract or distract you from your judicial service preparation. And this is something, the law is the same: CPC, CRPC, IPC, evidence, contract, SOGA, partnership, limitation, right? And your other laws such as Specific Relief Act, definitely Specific Relief. Arbitration and conciliation is a part of Delhi Judicial Service, not a part of any other judicial service. So arbitration conciliation you have. So this is this by and large 40 marks and 40 marks, 80 marks by and large. This paper is, matching or resembling your judicial service examination. The descriptive part is resembling your mains part of the examination, apart from drafting, for which we have supplied. 40 mark segment that is left, you can attend, as I've given you a tip, that you can attempt all those questions which are there in the 1 hour videos by the coaching institutes that's there. But if you want to really focus on HPCL law officer examination, you are really passionate about this job and you want to be very sure, then buy RS Agarwal and start solving the book.
Thank you so much, Ayush, for your kind words. I think if nobody has any question, then all right. So we have something. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I would just, before we end this session, I would just like to take you all to the resource where it would be available. So we do have a Telegram group. The name of the group is again the Mentorship Project. But since you people have already registered uh, in our website, so this is a website, and since it is a free material, we have already uploaded it, that drafting pleading conveyanced by Faculty of Law, Delhi University. So it is 138 pages book or a material which is uploaded. You can find it at what's new section of our website. There we shall be keep on updating our resources here. So right now it's the what Ayush was talking about. This is the material drafting, pleading and conveyancing. When you click on it, then you'll get the whole book here. Apart from this, we'll be uploading the whole PDF that we have discussed here. This PDF we shall be uploading it again in that section, so you can keep a check on that too. So I think before we end, I think Shubham has again raised his hand. Shubham, do you have any question?
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Shubham.
Hi, Ayush and Shivesh sir. I was just curious that to know that what is your what is the job profile in HPCL? What kind of work do you go through on a daily basis?
Shubham, I think
Raghav will be uploading the video. In the very first segment, we
yes,
explain
yes.
what do we do.
Shubham, that is how we have started the session. The very first thing that
Okay,
we discussed was
I missed that.
no problem, no problem, Shubham. We'll be uploading this session. If you want this session, we shall be giving you the link of this session as well.
Sure,
So
thank you.
if there are no further questions, so I would like to end this session, and I would like to thank from the bottom of my heart both of you, Shivesh and Ayush. These, as you already know, that we have been in the shoes of the aspirants. We know how hard it is to find guidance for these kind of exams, particularly niche exams like law officer exams, be it HPCL, be it a law officer exam of a bank, any other exam. And you, both of you, have stepped in and beautifully you have explained each and every aspect of this exam. You have taken question and answer. I think this question and answer session, it has lasted for like an hour, and very patiently you have listened to our aspirants and our mentees. And on behalf of all the mentees who are present here, all our aspirants who will be watching this session on YouTube, thank you so much. And we would like to express our gratitude to you both, and we would like that you please be connected with our mentorship project, because as I've already told before, that once these aspirants, they will clear the mains examination, the written examination, there would be again interviews and other session. Then we would love to have you both for mock interviews as well, so that we would help these aspirants to realize their dream and goals. So thank you so much, both of you.
Thank you so much, Raghav. Thank you so much, Shivesh sir.
Thank you so much, Raghav sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. So I would like to end this session here. So you can just directly go to our website and you can download the material that Ayush was talking about. Thank you so much, everyone. And keep checking our website, our social media account, follow our channel on YouTube so that we keep on posting good content for you. And just to remind you again, it is our pro bono project. Everyone who's connected with our project is a working individual. They are already doing their jobs. They are doing this, why? Because we feel that we can contribute something back to the society. So just be connected with us, and thank you so much for being there, and hope to see you people soon, and wishing you all the very best for your exam. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Take care. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.